And next, we have a quick segment highlighting some of the top stories that have happened in ARCA. Ben, what have been the biggest stories today from the ARCA Menards Series that caught everyone's attention?
Well, we had a couple of pieces of news come out. It's kind of been a busy news day with all of these announcements. Tony Breidinger will be back on a part-time basis with Venturini Motorsports. That deal was confirmed today. But the big news that everybody's talking about has to do with former Malcolm in the Middle actor Frankie Muniz, who finally is getting his opportunity at the ARCA Menards Series. He's going to be running a full schedule with Rette Jones Racing in the 30 car that Amber Balcaen drove this past season. Of course, Balcaen is heavily rumored to be in talks to drive for Venturini next season. So replacing her in that 30 car will be Frankie Muniz. And I think Frankie could surprise a lot of people himself. I think he has a lot more racing experience than people realize. He's competed in the Toyota Pro Celebrity race at Long Beach as early as 2004, I believe. Kind of caught the racing bug there. Went to compete in the Atlantic Championship, kind of on the path to what he hoped at the time would be an IndyCar career. And then had some injuries and health issues and had to take a step back. But recently he's come back to racing and is now trying to make this stock car career come true. And he's getting a great opportunity to run in ARCA. It's been rumored for a while. He said he wanted to do the West Series finale at Phoenix this past November. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to put a deal together for that. But this deal has come together, and I think it's a huge day for the ARCA Series as a whole to have a name like Frankie Muniz competing in the series full-time. Our own Casey Campbell says it's a good time to be in ARCA right now. Absolutely. And Casey, I saw your interview with ARCA PR Director Charlie Krall, which is on your YouTube channel. Everybody go watch that. Once you're done watching our show, of course, here. But Charlie and Casey were talking about how, TMZ has picked up on this, People Magazine. I mean, these are outlets that normally would not be talking about racing at all, let alone a series like ARCA. But with Frankie Muniz being the person who he is in show business and in acting, to be competing in the series full time, it's a really big deal for everybody involved. Really looking forward to seeing what Frankie can do in ARCA next year, and the publicity that that's going to bring. And I do want to bring up one more thing here real quick. NASCAR Man pointed this out as well. If you've been watching Brock Beard's 500 Days, which is a phenomenal documentary series on lost storylines leading up to the 2001 Daytona 500, the fourth part premieres tonight in just over an hour on his YouTube channel, Brock Beard. Brock brought up in part 3 last week that Frankie was on the grid in the 2001 Daytona 500, and there's a picture of him, or a camera shot of him, I guess I should say, sitting in the pace truck. And as the camera pans out, you can see Sterling Marlin's car, but he raced that day and raced for Ganassi for a handful of years. That chassis now belongs to Rette Jones Racing. Amber Balcaen raced that chassis last year, and it's very likely that that will be the car that Frankie drives himself when he makes his debut this upcoming season. So who would have thought that Frankie Muniz, as a teenage child star at the time, would be making his ARCA debut over 2 decades later and driving that exact same car that was on the grid that day. It's amazing how, if you watch NASCAR long enough, everything seems to come back full circle. It certainly has for Frankie Muniz, and it's a great opportunity for him. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.